Back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate 0. And in the last episode, we reached the second ending of Steins Gate 0, Twin Automata, the ending of Maho Hyajo, who was forced to delete the Amadeus system altogether after Judy Reyes assassinated Alexis Leskinen and attempted to take control of Amadeus for herself. Of course, it goes without saying that the events of that particular Worldline have been undone, because I've time leaped. Or rather, well, time leaped, and I may have sent an email or two trying to get me as far back to this point as I possibly can, existentially speaking, to the point where Rintaro Okabe had a choice, because today is the 2nd of January 2011, if memory serves, and I'm pretty sure it does. At this point in time, the Amadeus system was hacked by an unknown individual, and Maho was unable to access Amadeus Kurisu. But for some reason, Amadeus Kurisu is trying to reach out to Rintaro Okabe via the app on his smartphone. Now, last time, we refused to contact Amadeus Kurisu. And while we certainly gained some interesting information in the process, things could be a little bit better. So this time, I'm going to once again change fate and actually see what Amadeus Kurisu has to say. I'm guessing it's urgent. Call from Amadeus Kurisu. Let's contact her.
もしもし。
And Amadeus Kurisu looks very upset.
助けて。
Yeah. Someone's trying to break into Amadeus.
クリス
Amadeus Kurisu. But we need to help her.
助けて、岡部。
But how do we do that? How can we do that? In that instant, I suddenly felt incredibly dizzy and everything went black. Once again, Reading Steiner, though I doubt we're being shifted to the world line of Twin Automata this time, because we've changed fate yet again. So show me divergence number 0.57, and I didn't see the rest of that. And Rintaro is incredibly dizzy, still struggling to get out of the vertigo that is Reading Steiner. Although Rintaro doesn't have the divergence meter in his possession, I did manage to get the first 3 numbers. I felt like I was floating up from the bottom of a black pit. My mind slowly began to clear. Indeed it is, because the first 3 numbers of that divergence meter, they signify a foreboding of a very different sort. I have an incredibly bad feeling about this. It looks like we're still in the Future Gadget Laboratory. I slowly looked around the room. We still don't know what exactly is causing the shift in the world lines. There was no way I could mistake it. This was the Future Gadget Lab. And this music is incredibly fitting, because those first 3 numbers of the divergence meter, 0.51 or 57, 8 something or other. That's important. That is very important. And if my hunch is correct, it's going to mean everything. The place I'd just been a moment ago. There was nothing unusual about it. Yet. Except for the fact that everyone was missing. They'd been there just a moment ago, but now they were all gone. And I have a sneaking suspicion as to why. I looked at the clock. It had been just about 3 p.m. when I'd finished my call with Maho. Only a few minutes had passed. Even if I had passed out, it was impossible to imagine all of them leaving me here. Which meant, indeed,
まさか
the past has been rewritten yet again, Rintaro Okabe. I took a slow walk around the room. There were other strange things. Daru's PC, for example. There was a thin layer of dust on the keyboard, as if no one had used it for a while. And then the corner of the room. Normally that was where Mayuri put her bags. The paper bags where she always put the cosplay outfits she was working on. I'd seen them there just a moment ago, but now they were gone. Could this be... Indeed.
また世界線が
Yes, indeed.
変わった
And I hate to break this to you, Rintaro, but if you had the divergence meter, you would have noticed that we've dropped below the 1% threshold. Why?
そういえば
Amadeus Kurisu's words from before. Pleading for help. And the look of desperation on her face.
助けて岡部
Reaching out for help. But the revelation that we have dropped below the 1% threshold sends shivers down my spine. Why would Amadeus Kurisu say something like that? Did it have something to do with the Worldline shift? I took the phone out of my pocket and went to start the Amadeus app, and then stopped. Because we can't use it anymore. Because it's not there.
消えてる
I can certainly see that, Rintaro. The Amadeus icon was gone from my phone.
どういうことだこれは
My mind raced to try and come up with an explanation. But of course, I came up with nothing. Indeed, we're drawing a blank here.
落ち着けとにかく状況を確認するんだ
Call this intuition, but something tells me that you're not going to like what you find, Rintaro. I needed to calmly find out what this world was like. It's incredibly bad that Rintaro doesn't have the divergence meter, because if he had, he would already know the truth, but I think he's about to find out anyway. I was about to walk towards the door to find out when... the back of the room. I heard a sound from the back of the development room, which no one had ever used anymore. Someone was there. Who? Who could it be? Daru? Mayuri? Suzuha, maybe. I mean, she's still... Then again, she may not be here. I slowly approached. I almost couldn't breathe. I never forgot. I'd never forgotten her. The girl standing there was Kurisu Makase. And the only reason she could be standing here before us adventurers is if we dropped below the 1% threshold. That can only mean one thing. We're no longer in the beta attractor field of Worldlines. We're back in the alpha attractor field, adventurers. And if Kurisu Makase is alive, here in front of us, flesh and blood, that can only mean one thing. If Kurisu is alive, then Mayuri Shina is dead, if she hasn't already died already. Oh dear. Looks like things got even worse than before. I thought fighting against Stratfor was one thing. Antonomic Duel, the next chapter. Yeah. Kurisu, I'm very surprised to see you here. Alive. Not that I'm not grateful for that. Kurisu Makase was looking down at something.
Baka na.
Once I would have agreed with you, Rintaro, but don't doubt this evidence of your own senses. Kurisu couldn't be here because she was dead. Was I seeing things? Was my desire to see her making me hallucinate? She isn't a hallucination, Rintaro, but it seemed far too realistic to be a hallucination. Still, it felt that if I spoke a word, she'd disappear. I couldn't say a thing. What was she staring at without even moving a muscle? She was so still that I thought she must be a hallucination after all. But then... no, she is real. She finally exhaled a little and slowly turned around. And she finally notices us.
Okabe!
My throat was dry and I couldn't speak.
来てたなら来てたって言いなさいよ。黙って立ってたらびっくりするじゃない。
I think we're the ones that are just as scared, Kurisu. Because Rintaro is finally starting to realize what this means, and when he is. And that does not bode well in the slightest.
明けましておめでとう。
Yeah, I forgot. Happy New Year's, apparently, on this Worldline.
それにしても珍しいわね。あんたがここに顔出すなんて。
And Rintaro was still seized by the reality of the fact that on July 28th in the Beta Worldline, he inadvertently took the life of Kurisu Makase with his own hands.
岡部？
But in the Alpha Worldline, the events of Nakabashi's conference never happened. Suzuha's time machine crashed into the radio building instead of sitting on top of it, which meant that sometime later Rintaro would meet Kurisu Makase at the ATF seminar and eventually come to know Kurisu Makase personally.
クリス
Kurisu Makase, also known as Christina, the zombie, Celebsev, Hoin Kiyoma's assistant, not that she would ever call herself that, Lab Member 004, the very woman who we sacrificed the existence of to return to the Beta Worldline, to keep Mayuri Shina alive.
クリスなんだな。
新年早々何言ってるのよ。大丈夫？何か悪いものでも食べた？
Of course, Kurisu, if memory serves, has always been a bit of a skeptic at times. But nevertheless, when push came to shove, she inevitably believed Rintaro's explanations of the times in which he time-leaped countless times in order to save Mayuri Shina. Even a slightly peeved expression.
クリス
何？
And that also begs the question, if Kurisu is alive in this world line, then what took place of the events of the past several months? I wonder. And the gentle flash you sometimes saw in her eyes. And this.
どうしたのよ。本当に大丈夫な？
Even her warmth.
あんた急に何を？
Well, at least he's not attacking you like a crazy person as he did when he first saw you in this world line. At least not as Hoin Kiyoma. It wasn't a hallucination. Or an artificial intelligence on a screen. It was the real Kurisu Makase.
岡部？
Alive and well. The real, live, bona fide Kurisu Makase. A woman that Rintaro never thought he would ever see again.
お願い話して。
すまない。でももう少しだけこのまま。
It may seem a little bit creepy, Kurisu, but if you knew the reason why, you would understand.
あんたもしかして泣いてるの？
Indeed he is. I realized for the first time that my cheeks were wet. felt her soft hands on my back.
心配しないで。もう平気だから。
クリス。
大丈夫よ。大丈夫だから。
She whispered to me in a soft voice and patted me on the back, and wrapped her arms around me, like a kind mother holding a child.
すまなかった。
Not that we could help it. I finally calmed myself down. She was still there. She still existed. Now that I'd calmed down, I realized what that meant.
気にしないで。
And that revelation will break Rintaro Okabe even more than he already is.
無理もないわよ。私だって時々あるもの。そういうこと。
そういうこと？
思い出したんでしょ？まゆりのこと。
Of course. It makes sense that from Kurisu's perspective, Rintaro would be thinking about Mayuri. But that isn't the case. Not this time. Because we had a choice. We had a choice to either save Kurisu Makase, which would have meant letting Mayuri Shina die, or stealing our resolve to saving Mayuri, and thus the events of July 28th would come to unfold. But unfortunately I have to correct you on this matter, Kurisu Makase, because Rintaro wasn't thinking about Mayuri Shina at all. Not this time. He was thinking about you, or rather the events that happened to you on the Beta Worldline. That's right, Kurisu was here. Which meant that this was the Alpha Worldline. The world without Mayuri. And a Worldline that, if memory serves, will inevitably result not in World War III, but in CERN's dystopian rule. Stratfor doesn't exist. The Russians and the Americans aren't squabbling over time machine technology. Nakabachi is still living in Japan, estranged from Kurisu. And Mayuri Shina is dead. And that doesn't even begin to cover maybe Maho is still in America at Victochondria, as is Liskinen and Judy Reyes, and Amadeus. We're going to have to talk to Kurisu about that. But this is the Worldline where Mayuri died, where she will always die. No matter what we do, no matter how many times we've tried, Mayuri Shina simply cannot be saved. Some part of me had wished that this was the world beyond Steins Gate. That it was a new future, which someone else had opened up for me. But of course that was too good to be true. Indeed, because we are below the 1% threshold, there was no way for me to know what had happened. but I must have made my choice. In this world line, the only reason that Kurisu Makase was alive was that we gave up on Mayuri. This was the future where she was gone. Confronted once more with the reality of Mayuri's death, my heart felt like it was about to burst. Countless times have we had Mayuri's blood on our hands. It's not just Kurisu's blood on our hands, but Mayuri's as well. Every time we tried to save her, Worldline Convergence would intervene, and we would have to go through the same horrific nightmare over and over again. But no matter what we did, the cause of Mayuri's death would always change, but the reality of Mayuri's death would remain the same.
Mayuri.
How had she died? CERN? Moeka? Or some other random event?
Okabe?
Flashback of the moment she was inadvertently killed by Nai Tanuji of all things. Did they put her in front of a train? That was an accident. Nai had nothing deliberate to do about that. But Rintaro's anxiety is even worse. There's a flashback of when Mayuri was killed by Moeka in this world line. Did they shoot her? Stab her? Run her over? Or did she just die of a heart attack?
落ち着いて。
Kurisu's tiny hand wrapped around mine. I think it's too late for that.
ね、ほら、深く息を吐いて。
Little by little, my racing heart began to calm down.
ごめん、私が余計なこと言っちゃったから。
いや、そうじゃないんだ。
Indeed, that's not it at all. Far from it, in fact.
薬飲む？水持ってくる。
I don't think anxiety meds are going to help us this time, Rintaro. I rummaged through my pocket and found a small box of pills. Looks like they might after. It was the same anxiety medication that I'd already been taking. Even in this world line, I was still on the same drugs. I looked around the room while Kurisu got me some water from the tap.
ねえ、岡部。どうしてここに来たの？
You're asking us why? Kurisu Makase? After everything that's happened, well, to give you the honest answer, we don't know. We don't know why we came back here to the Alpha World Line. We don't know how we got back to the Alpha World Line. We still don't know what it is that's causing the shift in world lines. Something that has the power to affect the past, the same as the D-mail, the same as the phone wave TBA. But I'm afraid those questions will have to be answered for later. So when we return, adventurers, we'll just have to try and make light of the situation and find out just what exactly has changed in this particular branch of the Alpha Worldline, the Worldline in which Mayuri Shina's life is no more. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.